Hey everyone, in this video today I wanted to share with you something that hits a little close to home, a lot of other people have dealt with. It's called dementia. Now, myself and some siblings, we are assisting my mom in her care. I have done an article which I will paste a link below so you can find it on my website. But I just wanted to go over a few points. So if you see me looking away, it's because I'm looking at the article itself. I'll also include links below. Some of the information I would say is anecdotal in that it's what we've experienced. Myself personally, I've realized in writing this article that in some way I've had contact with at least a couple people with dementia, and through friends and family members, probably 5 individuals that I've known with dementia, one with Alzheimer's. And the reason I may mention that is that just some general points that I'll make later on as to why why that's important. But to start with, to give you a perspective where I'm coming from, in addition to what I just spoke of, I'm not a doctor. I am not a physician's assistant, I have no medical background whatsoever. This is just from my experience in watching a family member decline and what I have read online. There are 2 models that register stages of dementia. There is a 3-stage model and a 7-stage model. Now, even though they're different, the consistency between the 2 is this. There are 2 things in particular. One, a person may not fit exactly in one particular stage. They could have symptoms from each stage, but the majority they might fit in one particular area. So both models are good, but be aware symptoms can vary from person to person where they fit. Even in the 7-stage model, you could be in stage 3, have symptoms from stage 2 and stage 4. It depends on the individual. Now, the other consistency, you may find this kind of odd, is that there's a lot of agreement out there that dementia itself is unpredictable, in that the path of the progression is as unique as we are as individuals. In other words, someone can enter stage 1, whatever model it is, be in there for a month, and then move to stage 2 and be there a year. Whereas another person could be in stage 1 for a year, stage 2 for whatever amount of time, a few months to several years. And each stage that they go through, the unpredictability is, one, when they will enter that stage, how long they will be in it. As far as what I've seen is anywhere from one family member, once they were diagnosed, it was like 2.5 years that they continued with dementia until they passed away. Another individual family member that I did not know personally, but I've got information on, is now 12 years ongoing with dementia. My own mother, we know that she was diagnosed in 2014. At the time, or it was a little bit, I think it might have been a little bit after that, I'm pretty sure. Now, at 2014, I remember that number because once she was diagnosed, we can look back at that time frame. We can see the symptoms that had started there, specifically the short-term memory loss. And just to give you a little bit more on how it affects individuals differently, is I know someone whose mom is in pretty good physical health, even though I think she's in her 70s. I'm not positive on that. But as far as her mental state for recalling, she does not know any family members. Now, my mom, her physical health, she has other things going on. She still recalls who we are. But the connection, I think the emotional connection, is certainly not as strong. But she definitely knows who we are. The last thing I'll get into, without going a lot more detail as far as specifically what we're dealing with my mom, maybe I'll go into that at a later date. How dementia affects the caregivers. Now, I'm not the only person who's gone through this, so I'm not trying to do this for sympathy or anything like that. But for someone who may be facing that issue, you're going to find that your life is going to turn around quite a bit. Little things you have to learn as far as how to interact with the individual who has dementia. For example, one of the things that I do cover in the article, interacting is some of the research I've done. You can't argue with them, even if they're wrong. When they reach that point, the rationality isn't there to understand that, say, they remember it this way, and even though you can present a fact in front of them, all it's going to do is agitate them. So I know I'm jumping around a little bit. I did want to make one other point as far as interacting with a dementia patient, as far as, with that issue, the rationality is in arguing with them, it only frustrates you and that individual. And sometimes the bottom line is you have to be less than truthful with that person in order to protect them. And a perfect example I can give in our own situation is where my mom is highly diabetic. That's something she's aware of, but with the progression of dementia, it's not an important thing to her. It's it's like for her, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. So when she will go out and we go on a short day trip, or we want to go to a yard sale, for example, because that's something she still likes, she'll ask for an ice cream. Now the alternative is we say yes, we go get the ice cream, her sugar level goes to unsafe levels, and then we have other issues to deal with there. Or because of the dementia and the short-term memory loss, and some people might strongly disagree with this, I can take the criticism, other people might agree, is we say, Mom, on the way, don't you remember we already got an ice cream, we got to watch your sugar level, and sometimes that'll work. In the end, I can tell you the hardest that decision is on the caregiver like us, when we have to take advantage, in some cases, of that short-term memory loss just in order to protect the individual. I know I'm probably giving out a lot of information. I debated whether or not to do this video, but I decided I'm going to go ahead anyway. Just really for the point that it might help other individuals. Now getting back to how it affects the caregiver as far as myself and siblings of us who are working with this. Sleep is one thing that you will find will be either interrupted, less re-energizing for you. For my own circumstance, whether I work third shift or my brother works first shift, both of us, we're concerned. We could get a call in the middle of the night. Could be an issue because we take turns caring for during the day. During the night seemed to go pretty smoothly overall, but it's always in the back of your head. So we have been finding that maybe we sleep an hour or two at a time. So I haven't dealt with it properly yet. I know I should. I guess it's just one of those things that I just get used to it. So it does make you tired more often. So again, this is stuff for you to be prepared. Your situation could be different. You might be able to have other help coming in, but I think you're going to find still it's a struggle. And probably the biggest part is the decisions that we have to make to protect her health, and also seeing the change in her behavior, how she reacts. For example, something that's very urgent. Actually, let me rephrase that. Something that's minor can be very, very urgent for her and could put her in a very, very, very agitated state. For example, she was at the house, a light fixture fell and broke. For us, that's no big deal. No person might say, hey, can you help me pick this up? and it's over and done with. Well, for my mom, it became an extremely urgent issue to the point where when she tried to get our attention the first time, we did look over. We said, be right there. But for her, she could not handle that weight, and instantly she became agitated to a point we had never seen her agitated like this before. So you want to be prepared for mood changes, personality changes. That's about it. I'm already at 11 minutes. If anybody has any questions, I will debate on how much more detail I go into as far as the family members. I will post references in the bottom. I would encourage anyone who is going into this situation to look at all the resources you can. Again, reminding you, I'm not a doctor, not a physician. I have no medical experience. This is just my personal experience as one son caring for a parent with the help of their siblings. If you like this video, please share it with others. If you have suggestions, as this is definitely an ongoing issue in my life, please put them in the comments below. They could help me or other people watching it.